Greetings, good people. Greetings. All right, today's hot topic is Carlos King and Erica Mena, the interview, part two. All right. If you watched part one, good for you. I didn't. I just want to say that Carlos King is not the enemy. Okay. I kind of wanted to share some of the things that Erica Mena said. And I also kind of wanted to emphasize that Carlos King is not the enemy, in my opinion. Okay. Carlos King is a journalist. So he is doing his job. And rule number one of journalism is to remain unbiased. I absolutely positively think that this was good. This was a good thing to happen. And not because Erica Mena said anything profound or she's turned over a new leaf or she's truly sorry. Erica Mena is an idiot. She is a fool. She has proven to be a fool in the past, currently, and I'm pretty sure later on down the line in the future, she is still going to prove and solidify how foolish she is, right? Um, so I want to get into this article as per Jasmine Brand and kind of highlight some of the things that they talked about in part two of the interview. This one kind of focused more on the situation that took place on Love and Hip Hop, right? I just want to reiterate, Erica Mena has shown us that she's a foolish woman ever since she stepped onto Love and Hip Hop. Right? She started off in the New York with the New York franchise. I don't Was she on season 1 or she started on season 2? Anyway. But even way, way, way back then, what is it that Erica showed you guys that made you say, you know what? She's a stand-up gal. I'll wait. Anywho, let's get into this article. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to play some of the audio from a little piece of the interview just to kind of point out how foolish Erica Mena is, right? Don't you want to know up front that a fool is a fool? No? It's just me? All right, let's get into this article, okay? Again, this is as per the Jasmine Brand. Erica Mena speaks on racism controversy and being fired from Love and Hip Hop, issues apology should be in quotes, to the black community and claims Spice wasn't aware she called her a monkey until producers told her, okay? There's no way I'm taking this woman seriously. And I don't want to be offensive because I do understand, I very much understand that what Erica Mena did was derogatory and offensive, right? I gave commentary on that when all of this went down. But I just can't take this woman seriously. I absolutely can't. And I don't think I ever will because she's a fool. Anywho, so the article reads, in September, Erica Mena, 35, was fired from Love and Hip Hop after an episode aired of her calling her then co-star Spice, real name Grace Hamilton, a blue monkey during a verbal altercation. Subsequent to the episode being released, Erica Mena faced backlash from viewers who slammed her for the controversial remark. Today, October 31st, the second part of Erica's tell-all interview with Carlos King dropped. During their chat, the reality TV star spoke candidly about her argument with Spice and not being fired until after the episode aired. According to Erica, there was a lot removed from the altercation, including footage of Spice, 41, coming to the window to taunt her and make additional comments about her son after they were separated and Erica was taken outside of the establishment. She continued, honestly, it wasn't anything but her banging on the window and her putting her ASS up that reminded me of a monkey in that moment, not a race, an individual, her. This is what Erica Mena said. The way she's bantering me from inside, putting her ASS on the window and banging. Then she also said, so what do you think? Like, you're a effing animal. Was it wrong? Was it the wrong choice of animal? Yes. But in that moment, I felt completely violated by a woman that I really respect. Let me repeat. So what do you think? Like, you're a effing animal. Was it the wrong choice of animal? Yes. But in that moment, I felt completely violated by a woman that I really respected. So she meant to call her an animal. But now she feels that maybe I shouldn't have called her a blue monkey. Maybe something else. So that screams you dehumanizing someone, right? Erica later shared, I just want to take accountability and I just want people to know more than ever the state of being mindful and more aware of the things I say and do is officially solidified in my life. But I'm not racist and I'm not a colorist and I'm sorry to the people who I offended. Despite issuing several apologies to her the black community and watchers of Love and Hip Hop, Erica made it clear that she has no intentions of apologizing to Spice. According to Erica, she would say sorry to Spice if the dancehall artist was, quote, genuinely broken, end quote, by what she said. However, after they filmed the crazy dispute, Erica and Spice took to IG. Erica said Spice, took to IG Live and alleged that she had multiple STDs. Oh, I remember that. She cussed Erica Mena out while she was in the airport trying to duck and hide from her fans who kept coming up to her. It was a very interesting video. It's on the channel. I'll probably link it somewhere in this video. She also claimed that Spice and other cast members were unaware of the monkey comment until production told them. I'm reading this way for a reason because I want this to sink in. She continued, I really feel like production went and they were like, oh my God, this is going to be great ratings. Let's go with it. And what they failed to realize is, yeah, it brought ratings, but it also brought backlash that you now have to save face for and probably lost a lot of sponsorship. So this is according to Erica, this is the network's fault. I highly doubt that they lost sponsorship. That's why MTV was so quick to fire you. I told y'all she's a fool. She's not smart. Let's continue on. While speaking on the timing of her firing, Erica expressed, see, when it happened, I knew I effed up that day. And I was filming for months and months and months. And I just was like, okay, I knew this was coming, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. And that's okay. This girl's an idiot. She goes on to say, what's not okay is how if this was as bad as the network says it is, why wasn't I let go a long time ago? So she's admitting that she should, her offensive talk should have caused her to lose her job a long time ago. But she's still blaming it on the network. Wow. All right. So there's that on that. Okay. Erica's stupid. Point blank. And it's not only because of this incident. She's stupid because you have no intention of apologizing to Spice. That's your choice. Okay. Every choice has a consequence. You admitted that you should have called her an animal. She deserved to be called an animal, just not a monkey. Okay. I'm glad she did this interview because it shows how dumb she is. If she had any sense, she would have never done an interview. I don't even want her to do an interview where she's crying and being fake remorseful. She should have just never done an interview. But because she is so thirsty for attention, there are people who thrive off of attention. It doesn't matter if you're tearing them down, insulting them, criticizing them. To them, in their mind, any attention, I repeat, any attention is better than no attention at all. Which brings me to this, all right? I wanted to show this video, and I'm going to speed this up, right? Because I really don't want to get dinged. But if I have to cut this portion out, then just know I will cut this portion out. I want you to not only listen to what she says, if you can stomach it, it's pretty much what I read, but pay attention to her body language when she is speaking on certain things. Listen to how she talks. Like this is just regular schmegula. All right, you ready? Like to hear? Here it go.
You charge at her, and in the midst of that, you refer to her as a monkey.
Outside.
Explain to us what was going on in that moment.
there's a lot that happened inside that establishment that wasn't edited out. So when I flipped the table up, Spice got up and fell flat on her face because of all the food. Next thing you know.
So she's bragging about the fact, because remember, she did lift the table, so she got aggressive first. She's bragging and boasting about the fact that when she lifted the table, because I guess she feels like she's some superhuman and she got all this strength and she about that life. A lot of people are quote unquote about that life when they're security. Anyway, she's bragging about when she flipped the table that Spice fell. Did you see her smile as if she accomplished something? And y'all think that this woman got a lick of sense? I know most of you don't, but I'm just saying.
Security, all that stuff, mayhem.
See, this is exciting to her. She's so excited about this.
I get on one of the couches and I start throwing shit at her. I wasn't done. So eventually.
Everybody's always tough when there's security around. Look how proud she is. This is why I say she's a fool for doing this interview, and Carlos is smart for having her on this platform. I'm gonna get into more of my opinion about Carlos. I know Carlos doesn't need me to defend him, but I'm just gonna point out that Carlos is not the enemy. All right, let's keep going.
They take me outside. Okay, I'm outside at first, talking with producers. I should keep coming for my son. Next thing you know, she comes to the window where I'm standing at, and is lifting up the blinds, banging on the window. Next thing you know, I see her. She putting her ass in the window. So between the banging and her putting her ass, right then and there, I'm like, oh, this bitch is taunting me. After what she just said, she's taunting me. And she's still yelling, yes, that's why your son has her, that's why your son. And the only reason why I heard that is because as this is going on, the door of the establishment, this is where she's standing, I'm standing here, and there's a door. So the door of the establishment keeps coming out because of cameras, and people in security that are trying to balance out what's inside. So I hear her inside yelling, your son hits you, that's why your son hit you, while she's banging on the window, throwing her ass up. And honestly, it wasn't anything but her banging on the window and her putting her ass reminded me of that in that moment. Not a race, an individual. Her.
So basically, Spice doing what she said Spice was doing, that reminded Erica of a monkey. So that's why she called her that. My God, this girl is dumb.
The way she's bantering me from inside, putting her ass and banging.
The way she's bantering me. Bantering you? Antagonizing you, maybe? Taunting you? But bantering you?
So what do you think? Like, you're an animal. Was it the wrong choice of animal? Yes. But in that moment, I felt completely violated by a woman that I really respected.
Yo, Carlos is looking at her like, yo, she don't have a publicist? She's really an idiot. Yes, she is an idiot. She's stupid because she's justifying this. Now, if you guys remember on the season finale of this franchise of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, remember when she came to whose party? Whatever party it was like unseen footage that they incorporated into the season finale. And Yandy was talking to her. And Yandy was like, she confronted her. Yandy said, you don't see anything wrong with that? She said no. And she said that she would do it again. Carlos is in total disbelief, in my opinion. He's looking at her like, yo, she's really dumb. Let me tell y'all something. She is so oblivious to her ignorance that she thinks that doing this interview is going to vindicate her or humanize her, because in part one, she talked about her upbringing and how she had a rough upbringing. Her mom was in and out of jail. She talked about, hard times that she endured, abuse that she endured, pretty much like a lot of other people, okay? And I'm not negating or minimalizing anything that she's gone through. None of that has anything to do with what it is that you chose to say on Love and Hip Hop. And it's fine. I like to get confirmed or have confirmation, when I have an inkling or I have evidence that I know that somebody's an idiot and a fool. Little confirmation doesn't always help. This is overly confirmed that Erica is an idiot. And I'm glad that she went on Carlos King's podcast and he just let her talk. Because to me, at this point now, after all of this, this is my opinion, anyone that has a platform that quote unquote sympathizes with Erica Mena, or, well, I understand where Erica Mena is coming from, or you're on her side, I'm going to look at you sideways. Because if you can side with and support a total and utter jackass like Erica Mena, then that says a lot about you. Now listen, Spice can very well forgive her and move on and never speak to her again. But I do feel like Erica Mena should be held accountable for her actions. You can throw production under the bus all you want, but you have a history of being problematic, okay? And yeah, the network probably used you for ratings. Whatever, you signed up for it. You can't blame them now. You signed a contract. But it doesn't negate the fact that you pushed their hand. See, this is not VH1 anymore. This is MTV. So you pretty much forced their hand to get rid of you. And I would have gotten rid of her too. She is definitely a liability. You're not an asset to the Love and Hip Hop franchise. That's why you bounce from franchise to franchise. What are you bringing to the franchise? If you don't show up, most of us are probably not even going to miss you. Another thing that I also wanted to point out is, another thing that made me look at her like she's a fool and a jackass is when her and Safari were going through whatever they were going through. And she accused Safari of being a deadbeat father, right? She never provided any proof. And I used to always see online people joining in and calling Safari a deadbeat father. And I said to myself, but how is he a deadbeat? You can call him a deadbeat if you choose to, right? But where's the proof? Erica Mena used to get on social media and just say whatever she wanted to say. And this time, you said something that you thought that other people would agree with you on, and you thought the majority was going to have your back because you thought because of the way that Spice looked, no one would care about her. And it just proves how much of a bigot you are. And you're not even a smart bigot. Not that that makes any sense. You're not even smart. There was no reason for you to do this interview. This interview was never going to benefit you. All Carlos King had to do was give you a couch to sit on and a camera. That's it. And you were going to do the rest. So I say that to say that Carlos King is not the enemy. There have been plenty times throughout history that some of the greats, Oprah, Barbara Walters, may she rest in peace, Mike Wallace, Diane Sawyer, they have interviewed questionable people, okay? Back in the day, Oprah used to have bigots on her channel and on her stage. The audience used to go crazy. Phil Donahue, the same thing, okay? Barbara Walters sat down with some of the most horrific, horrible people. Rule number one in journalism, real journalism, you have to remain unbiased. Some people don't want to interview people because, their views don't line up with theirs. That's fine. If people like Charles Manson can be interviewed, why can't Erica Mena? It gives them a platform to showcase how idiotic or stupid or careless or whatever they are. And I'm glad that this was done. Bravo, Carlos King. I don't believe that Carlos King is in cahoots with Erica Mena. I know that he did a review on part 1 of the interview, and I didn't even watch it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even watch part 2 in its entirety. I watched a long enough portion of part 2 because I didn't care about the other stuff. I wanted to see how she was going to address. And I no lie, if I was a gambling woman, I would have bet $1,000 that she was gonna make an even bigger fool of herself than she did on Love and Hip Hop. Slaps knee, by golly, I was right. So Erica Mena thinks that this is going to garner her some sort of sympathy. Some people will sympathize with you. So hell, some people feel exactly the way that she feels about Spice and other black women. That's fine. But let's see how much support you get when people who maybe would have aligned themselves with you or have aligned themselves with you in the past are losing sponsorships and people don't want to be bothered. Let's see how quick people jump up off your little truck. Yo, this girl is so dumb. Like, Does she have a manager? Her manager, people around her can't care about her. They can't. She should be declining every single interview. She's not smart. She's not smart. She doesn't have, in my opinion, she doesn't have any emotional intelligence, no media training. She's an actress. I don't think she's a bad actress either, but she's an actress nonetheless. And I don't know what she think this is going to do for her brand. And then on top of that, you heavily spray tanned and bronze. Girl, no. She the only one that believe her BS. Now, as far as Carlos, like I said, y'all cut Carlos some slack, man. Yeah, y'all online tearing him to shreds, saying that he should be ashamed of himself. This is the man's job, and he understands that a lot of people are not going to like who he has on his platform, but it is his platform. If he was high-fiving her and saying, I agree with you, and that's how I feel, and, I feel the same way, that would be a different story. But an unbiased journalist is a professional journalist. It's not easy, and I would love to hear his true kitchen table talk thoughts, but he has to remain professional. So he's not the enemy. He's letting you know, he's giving a platform to somebody to let you know and see for yourself how idiotic I think she is. She made a fool of herself all by herself. She didn't need any help. All right. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. I love you for watching, and I will talk to you later.